Hello my friend, in today's video we're going to build out a one-page website together. That's right, start to finish, and we're going to do it in 30 minutes. This is specifically designed for somebody who wants to get started quickly. I've included a number of additional resources under this video for those of you who want to dive into some of those topics a little bit deeper. This is designed, as I said, start to finish, 30 minutes. Now, to make this really easy, I've also included fill in the blank content prompts that you can access. I'll include a link to those in the description as well. Now that's out of the way, let's head on over to the computer and start building out your website. If you don't currently have a Squarespace account, you can go to chloeforbeskay.com/Squarespace and click this big Get Started button. Scroll down and select a start and design. It doesn't matter which one, we're going to customize it. We'll start with Pizzari here. Under site title, we'll add our company name. Hit continue, next, and get started. We can then select pages, and you'll see here next to work there's this little house icon. That lets us know it's our home page. Now you'll also see there's sort of 4 little squares. That tells us it's our portfolio page, which doesn't work for this design. So I'm going to come down to my not linked section, click the plus icon, and add a blank page. We'll title it home, and then go into hover over, click the gear icon, scroll down and set as my home page. Click close. I can then hover over, click the bin icon, and delete these extra pages. We can now begin editing our website. So we'll select Edit, Add Section, and to keep things nice and easy, we're going to use some of these pre-made layout sections. So under Intro, I'm going to select this one, hit G on my keyboard to bring up my grid. I'm then going to click on this text, bring it up so I've got 2 rows above, pull it out a little bit, and then I'm going to come into my homepage prompts. Now you have access to this. There's a link in the description below. If you don't have a Notion account, you can just come in here and copy and paste the text. If you do have a Notion account, you can hit duplicate in the top right hand corner. This will be added to your Notion account, and what's great about that is you will be able to view this video here once it is live, once you're watching it now, and you will also be able to add your images in and edit the text as you go before you go ahead and create your site. So we're going to scroll down, and I'm going to copy my brand statement here, click in and paste, scroll down. I'm going to delete this text, so I'll just click, hit the bin icon, scroll down and pull this button up, double click, and I'm going to make this call to action, make project inquiry. We're not going to worry about the link just now. I'm just going to hit design and make sure that it's a primary button and it's fill. So we'll click here, drag this out a little bit, come on over and pull these extra rows up, and then I'm going to click on the image, click the pencil icon, delete this image, and I can either upload a file or I can browse stock images. Now I'm going to use stock images to build out this website, so I would click here. And then under free images, I'm going to use Squarespace's Unsplash integration to search something like businessman or business person. And once you've uploaded your image, you would want to scroll down and add image alt text. This is going to help with accessibility for users who are maybe using screen readers because they're visually impaired. You would also want to give it a file name for SEO purposes. I have a video on that I'll link to in the description. Now, if I pull this over and I select design, you'll see here it's got fill selected, which means the image is supposed to fill this container, which it's not doing. We've got space on either side. To fix this, just click fit and then fill again, and that will sort that. Now, if we look at this image in just a little bit more detail, you'll see that the business professional is looking at us. He's making eye contact. That's a +1. Smiling. That's also a +1. But if we look at his body, his back is towards the text, and his whole body is sort of pointing off the screen away from the content. Now, we want to always consider psychology and where we want to direct our users' attention. And so if we were to switch out this image and this text, switch sides, it would be a lot more effective. Let me show you how. We click off, click this image and pull it across, click this text, pull this across, drag our button over, and you'll see that now Same image, same text, a lot more effective because his whole body is directing our attention towards this text. This is where he wants us to look. And he's still making eye contact, still smiling. So we want to consider that when we're selecting visuals for our website. Where do we want to draw our visitors' attention to? And how can we help create flow throughout our website by combining art and strategy? So that's our first section. We'll hit done and save. Come back in, add another section. This time we'll select blank section, hit G on the keyboard, add a block, we'll add some text. And here I'm just going to drag this out, making sure I've got an even number of columns on either side. Come back into my homepage prompts, and here is where we're going to add our transformation text. So you would fill in the blanks first. I'm just adding the prompts in, paste that in. I'm going to change that to heading 2. And I'm going to center align it, and I'm not going to have it be bold, just keep it simple. I'm going to click on here again, make sure the alignment is centered, and drag this extra spacing up. Done and save, add a new section. And here is where we're going to add our about section, our about text. We could click on about and see if there's anything we like here. I'm just going to add a blank section here, hit G on my keyboard, and I'm going to create 2 columns. So on the left, I'm going to add basic text, and on the right, I'm going to add an accordion block where I can answer the most frequently asked questions I'm likely to receive from a client. And the reason I want to do that is because my job on this page is to answer any question or objection they have and help them make an informed buying decision. That means I need to give them all the information they need to make that buying decision. So we'll add a block, add text, drag this out. I'll leave a column, come into my homepage prompts, copy, paste, and ideally this will be already edited when you add this in rather than edited on the page itself. And then here on the right, I'm going to add a block, search accordion, drag this over here, pull it out, click the pencil icon, and then if I click on this first item, here is where I can add my question, and here is where I can add my answer. So if we come into our prompts, the first question is, who is this for? And then you would fill in this information here, click into the second item, what's included, paste that in here. Now to add extra items, you just click here. If you need to delete any, you just hit the bin. So we're going to go ahead and do this for all of our prompts. So we have who is this for, what's included, how does it work, or the process. We have roles and responsibilities. Now this is a big one in terms of managing client expectations up front. Often as a service provider, we're relying on clients to provide us certain information up front in order for us to deliver on our promise. For example, as a website designer, I require my clients to give me their brand assets and information. In many instances, they provide the website content, and so I need that information up front and on time in order to deliver their website in a prompt, timely manner. And so by having this up front and sharing what the roles and responsibilities are, it avoids any hiccups along the way and allows us to create a much smoother experience for ourselves, the service provider, and for the client. Now, under pricing and your investment, notice that I didn't frame this as how much does it cost. And that's because how much does it cost has a negative connotation. We feel like we're having to give something up versus gaining something. But if you're investing in a service, you are investing, you're gaining something in return. And so if we can frame it as pricing or investment, we set it up in our client's head, again, considering psychology, that they're going to receive something in return. So they're much more open to making that purchase. And then finally, your next step, even though we have different sections we're going to add under this, some people are ready to take that next step, and so we want to add that call to action just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these into my website. Once that's all done, we can select design, and you'll see here we can customize how it looks. So I'll drag this over, click title. I'm going to change this to paragraph 1. Click back out. Description can stay as paragraph 2. Under design, I can choose if I want to expand this first item. I like to toggle this off. I think it can look messy, but you can also allow for multiple items to be opened at one time. Dividers, these lines, you can turn those off. And the icon, I'm going to switch to arrow. I'm going to make this medium size and medium thickness. The placement can stay on the right, and row padding I'm going to change to small. I don't want any background, but if you did, you could check this on and add a background. Once we're done, I can adjust the placement if I need to. It looks good. Hit done and save. Add a new section. And here we can either build out our services using image blocks and text blocks and buttons, or we can come down to a pre-made template and we'll go to services, scroll down, and you'll see here these options with the little eye. They're called auto lists and they work a little bit different. We're going to select and use one so you know how they work. So we'll select this and you'll notice if I hit G, it doesn't do anything. These ones work a little bit different. So if we click edit content, we can choose if we want to toggle on a title, a button. So this is the button at the bottom here. So you could turn this off, and if you have individual service pages that you were linking to, say this wasn't a one-page website, you could choose to show a button here under each item. We'll toggle this off, toggle this one on. We do want to show the body, the title, and the image. So come into content, and you'll see here you can click on the items. Now to move these around, you just drag them. To add one, you click add. To delete one, you hit the bin. So we'll click in, change out our image. You would add your image alt text. We're going to call this service 1. And here we're going to add a description of our service, who it's for, and what's included. Come back out and we're just going to do the same thing for the next 2 service items. Now we have our services, we can select design, and you'll see here I've got it selected as a simple list. Now if I click down, you can also have it as a slideshow or a carousel. Now if we click here, say you had more than 3 services, which I don't recommend, but if you did, you could then have these scroll through without having like 5 or 6 different services all in this tiny little space. Having this carousel can be helpful. But we're going to stick with simple list. Keep the alignment to the center, media first. We've got 3 columns, that's perfect. Under image crop, I've got it as 4:3, but you can change to any of these dimensions or even a circle. If you select style, you'll see here you can adjust the text size, and you can also give your image card a background. And here you can adjust the various settings for that. The great thing is you can see it as you're doing it, so you can really just play around and make sure you're happy with it. We'll toggle that off for now. And then under size and space, you'll see here you can play around with the sizing of the media, content, spacing, all that good stuff. So I'll let you go ahead and do that. We'll hit back. Now one thing I didn't do was change out the title and the button, so let's do that now. I'll change this to ways we can work together, and then my button I'm going to also change to make project inquiry. So you'll see here throughout the page that there's one consistent call to action. It's very clear that we want visitors to make an inquiry. Again, we're going to leave the link blank for now. Click to add another section, and here we want to add some social proof so that people can know that we are who we say we are and we're as good as we claim to be. So here I'm going to scroll down, select testimonials, go through, see if there's any I like. This one is really pretty. This would make a good hero statement. We're going to select this one. Again, I could hit G on my keyboard, and you'll see here if I wanted to move this around, I could. I quite like how it's laid out. It's a little bit different, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. You would obviously switch out this text for actual testimonials and switch out these images for actual images. So again, we'll hit done and save. And the final section we're going to add is our call to action section. So we'll click here, add a section. Now here we're going to use the same section that we started with, this intro section. And the reason is we switched the image from right to left. And so having this one on the right to finish off our website will give it a really nice balance. We'll hit G on the keyboard again. I'm going to pull this up. So again, there's 2 rows above. I'll come into my content prompt, so it'll be let's work together. Now I'm not going to pull this all the way out because I want to keep it header 2 for consistency, but I want this on 2 rows. But I will bring this text up and I'll pull this one out. Come back in, copy my text, paste it in here. Now here where we have a button, I'm actually going to click and hit the bin on this. We're going to do something different. So if I add a block, this time I'm going to select form. I'm going to drag it down. And you'll see here that creates all the space in here. If you ever have extra spacing under an image, you would just click in and you could drag this down and make it bigger if you wanted to. But we're going to click into the form now. Click the pencil icon. You can give your form a name. Click edit form fields. And here you can adjust the various fields. So if we click add field, you'll see there's a number of different field options that you can add. And I highly recommend you use this opportunity to pre-qualify leads on your website. This is a great opportunity to ask questions that are going to filter out people that aren't really interested in working with you or aren't a good fit from those who are worth your time and your attention. It's going to save you so much time in your inbox. So adding questions like, do you have the budget for this project? You can say projects start at $3,000. Do you have the budget set aside for this? What is your timeline for this project? Is there a deadline? What do you hope to achieve? This is going to make your life so much easier. So make sure you're adding those pre-qualifying questions. Hit back. At any point in time, you can hit edit. You can remove any of these by clicking here. You can also move these around. Once you're done, hit done. Come back out. And then under post submit, this is if you want to add a thank you message or redirect people to a thank you page. This is a really great option. I have a video showing you how you can take advantage of this in the description below. We'll come back out for now, hit design, and what's really important is we select Lightbox. And you'll see here that turns our form into a button, and when people click on it, the form is going to pop out and allow them to fill it in. Now you can absolutely use this on all the buttons in the prior sections. I tend to just have it at the bottom because we're going to use anchor links to direct people to this, but you can add it anywhere on your site if you would prefer using this method. So we're going to give this text a name and we're just going to call it Make Project Inquiry again. Now, a lot of times people like to switch up the button text. This can be to test it out. I tend to keep it the same, and if I'm testing it out, I'll test it over a period of time, switching out all the call to actions because I want the call to action to be clear. One single action, make a project inquiry. It's very clear in our visitor's mind. They know exactly what the next step is. And then under storage, we're going to make sure that our email address is connected here so that we're going to receive those project inquiries and leads. Click off, come up, we're going to click the pencil icon, delete this image and replace it with our own. And if I pull this over, you'll see it's also done the same thing. It's not filled it properly, so we'll go to design, select fit, then fill. And there we have our image. Scroll down and make sure there's no extra rows. And then we're going to hit done and save. And then we're going to come back in and edit our footer. Here I'm going to click and delete this text, hit G on my keyboard, add a block, add text. And here I'm just going to add my company name. Change that to heading 3. Now I'm keeping this footer really simple, but you can absolutely add more to this if you want. Click add block again. We'll add some text again. And this time I'm going to drag it over to the other side. Double click in, paste my copyright message in, align it to the right. Now I've just added this in as basic text, but I do have a blog post where I show you and a video that shows you how to automatically update your copyright. So you can check that out if you want to automate that. I can click here and center my text if I want. Then I'm going to edit section and I'm going to go to colors and scroll all the way down to darkest one. So we now pretty much have our website. The only thing is we have to make sure that it looks good on a mobile device. And you'll see here it prompts you when you have changes that you need to adjust on a mobile view because it has this blue dot here. So if we click on a mobile view and we scroll up, you'll see it's a little bit messed up. And so we have to come in and adjust each section. So if we click on this image, I'm just going to pull it up so we can see the full thing. I'm going to put this first. Again, hit G on your keyboard to bring up your grid. Click on my text and drag it down. Full width. I'm going to pull this extra container space up and drag my project inquiry button down. I'm going to make that the full width and I'm going to click off and pull these extra rows up. Section 2 is fine, section 3 is fine, 4 is good. Now here under section 5, I could just make a small adjustment so this text is overlapping. I could just move it down or I could move it to the side. Instead, I'm going to customize this so it looks better on a mobile device. So I'll hit G. I'm going to add some rows to give me some space, and what I can do is I can just drag my mouse over all of these blocks and pull them down. I'll pull this text down a little bit. I'm going to grab this image, make sure it's equal, pull this up a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing for every other testimonial block. So click here, make this full container width, drag this down, and I'll pull that extra row up. So this just looks a little bit neater on a mobile device. And then again, my last section here, I'm going to pull this form up. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, you see how big this form container is? The reason is it's allowing for the full form, not just this light box button. So what we can do is just drag this up, click on the image and pull it down. I'll pull this up. Again, I could hit G on my keyboard if I want. I'm going to click on this image, pull it up so we can see the full thing. Make sure that's the last thing. And then I'm going to click and drag all these extra rows up. And now our website looks good on a mobile device, and we've also got it set up on desktop. Always hit done and save. And if we drag this out, we've got the basis of our website, but now we want to add some personality to it. So we're going to add some different site styles. Now, if you need any additional help DIYing your brand from scratch, creating a logo, font pairing, color palette, all that good stuff, there are videos below this one, but there is also my Squared Up to Sell free training. This is a 45-minute training, and in there's a whole section on branding where we create a logo, color palette, font pairings, identify images, all that good stuff. So you might want to check that out as well. For now, we're going to come back out. There's two ways we can get to site styles. We can click design, site styles, or we can just hit edit on our page and click this paintbrush icon. And the first thing we're going to do is select fonts. And you're always going to start with a font pack. So you can either switch this up to another pre-made font pack here. We're going to come out and we're going to customize it from scratch. So my base size here is 15. I like to make it 16 so it's easy to read. And then for my heading, I'm going to click the family, browse all fonts, and find a font I like. So I'm going to select Libre Baskerville. Now, this is a serif font. You know it's a serif font because it's got these little lines on the end of each letter. I'm going to click back and I can adjust the weight, style, height, spacing, text transformation, and also adjust my heading sizes. I'm just going to leave that for now. Paragraphs, I'm going to change that family. Browse all fonts. So for my paragraphs, I've chosen Libre Franklin. And the reason is this creates some contrast. So this is a sans serif font. You see that it's got no lines on the end of each letter. This is a serif font because it does have the lines on the end of each letter. And what that does is it creates a contrast between paragraph font and my header font. So it's really easy for a user to know, what's a header section and where they can sort of skim the content. So we can come in here, we can change out the weight, style, line height, spacing, same thing as header. Come back out. Once you've done all that, select buttons. And here I'm going to change this out. I'll choose Libre Franklin. Again, you can adjust the weight, style, and size of each button, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Come back out. And miscellaneous is for any other text on your website. This is more if you have a store, things like that. You can change this out. And then assign styles is for any other area. So say you add an announcement bar, something like that, you could come in here and you can change this out, either selecting the paragraph font or you can customize it. Once we've selected our fonts, we'll select colors. And again, I have a full tutorial, so I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. Instead, we're just going to hit Edit Palette. And here I'm going to adjust my color palette to my brand. So you'll see here, I'm just going to use this color eyedropper tool to grab my hex code. Now I've got a link to this extension below. This will help you identify your brand colors if you have them, but you don't know what the hex code is for them. So you can use this eyedropper tool, pick a color from a web page. You can click on this, click on the color, and it's going to give you the hex code. So now I've got my color palette, I'm going to come back out and you'll see here it pre-makes these sort of themed sections, and we can use these to customize our website and give it a little bit more personality. So if we come out, before we look at that, let's click on animations. You'll see you can add some basic site animations here if you want. I'm going to leave that for now. Under spacing, you can adjust the page width and the site margin, and then under buttons, you can adjust how your buttons look. So right now we have them as this square block. Now I can change this and make it rounded and fill it. Now I can change out the settings for primary, secondary, or tertiary, or I could just click and apply to all button types. Come back out, hit close, and then what we're going to do is go through our website and just add those themed sections to give it a little bit more character. So if we click edit section, I'm going to select colors. We'll make this that gold color. Here under services, we can edit this, go to colors, we'll make this light one. Scroll down and maybe we make our testimonials that gold color too. And then what I'm going to do is in this footer, because black is quite a harsh color, I'm going to edit this. Go to colors and I'm going to change this to dark one. There we go. Hit done and save. Now, one of the last steps we need to take is to edit our site header. And typically we would have links to different pages. This is a one-page website, so we're going to create anchor links so that people can click on sections like About, and it'll take us to the section of our page that has the About information. So to do this, we're going to create anchor links. And again, I have a more in-depth tutorial in the description. For now, we're going to hit Edit. Now, we're not going to link to the home section because if people click on our company name or our logo, we'll be able to adjust that here. We'll scroll down, About will be our next section. And so what I'm going to do is click Add a Block, search Code. Now I'm going to drag this over, and it can be anywhere at the top of the section, and it doesn't matter if it's going over our current content. We're going to click the pencil icon, delete this, and if you come into your homepage prompts, you'll see I've laid these out for you. So you'll see here we've got our code, so we're just going to copy this, paste this in, and you'll see here that has created an update in our mobile view. What we'll have to do is click on that, scroll down, and you'll see it adds this code block to the bottom, which creates this space that is not very welcomed. So we're just going to drag this again up to the top of the section, keeping in mind that it's okay that it's overlaying our text. That's completely fine because we can't see anything. We'll pull this up, and we're going to do this for every section that we add a code block to. So the next one is ways we can work together. Now we can add a code block to this, unfortunately. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can add custom CSS code. That can be a little bit confusing if you're just a beginner. So I'm going to show you a little hack for doing this. We're just going to add another section here, create a blank section. I'll hit G on my keyboard, add a block, add code. I'm going to have this span the full width of the container, come into our prompts. Here we've got an image divider, so where it says image divider, that's where we're pulling this in from. Come back in here, click the pencil icon. I'm going to paste this in. Now, just one quick note, what we include in this quotation marks is really important because this is what we're going to link to. So I've added these all in for you, but if you change any of them, you'll also have to change them in when we start to add links to your header. So just something to keep in mind. So I've added that in there. If we hit edit section, I can click this fill screen off. And you'll see here, if we do that, it works really well on desktop. You can barely notice this space. We can afford to have it there. But if we click on a mobile view, you'll see this space is rather big and it kind of breaks up the page. So what we want to do is then come back to desktop view. And what we're going to do is create an image divider here. So we're going to create our own image divider, make this a little bit bigger, and we're going to use that to give a reason that we have this sort of blocked section. So we'll come into Canva. If you don't have a Canva account, you can go to chloeforbes.com/Canva. I'm going to click create a design, custom size. This one I'm going to do 300 by 300, select element, and I'm going to search for arrow. Once I find one I like, I'll just click and add it to my page. I'm going to turn it around to 90 degrees, and then I'm going to click on the color, and I'm going to grab my hex code. I'm going to grab this gold color, click the plus icon, paste it in. Now you can use Canva to add all kinds of different images and elements to your website to give it personality. We're just keeping this one really simple. Now, when we're ready to download it, one thing to note is if you have a paid account, you can hit share, download, make sure PNG is selected, and then click on transparent background. But this is just for pro users. If you are not a pro user, if you're using the free version, you'll have to make sure that this background matches the background of your section. So say it was this section, we would have to come in and give our background this color so that it fits in nicely and we don't have this black block white on gray. Come back into my website. I'm going to add a block, add an image, click the plus icon, upload my file. I'm going to make this small, drag it over to the center here, click, add these extra rows up. And now if I click on a mobile device, you'll see here I can pull this image up, click here, drag this, and it doesn't look so strange that we have this block here. So that's just a quick trick. It's the easiest way to deal with this rather than have to worry about CSS. Now for testimonials, we're going to go through that same process, add a block, add code. We'll move this one here, click the pencil icon, come into our prompts, grab our code. Again, keeping in mind that this is testimonial within the quotations. Scroll down and we're going to add our final code block. Click the pencil icon, grab our code, paste it in here. hit done and save. Again, coming back into our mobile view and adjusting everything so that it works. And you always want your anchor link to be to the top of the section. Then once we've done that, we'll hit done and save again. And then what we're going to do is come into Pages. And in this main navigation, we're going to click the plus icon, scroll down, add a link, and here is where we're going to link to our section. So our first one is about, and here where it says link, if we come back into our prompts, you'll see this was our link here, remember, between the quotation marks. So what we're going to do is copy this and just put a hashtag in front of it. So hashtag about, hit save, and if we click that, you'll see it takes us to our About section. So we're going to do the same thing, add another link. We'll call this one Services, hashtag Services. Click another one, link, hashtag Testimonials. And I'm just going to adjust these by pulling this up to get the order right. Click to make sure they all work. And then we're going to add a standout call to action in our header. So we'll hit edit, hover over and edit site header. And here you'll see you can adjust your site title and add a logo if you like. Click on elements and here we're going to select the button on, and here we're going to do the same thing, project inquiry, and here we're going to do hashtag inquiry. Choose if you want to add social links. Language switch is a third-party integration using Weglot, so that's a separate tutorial we'll need for that. And then cart is if you have a store. Come back out, you can adjust the style here, so we can do dynamic, we can do solid. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to change the background color to this blue. We'll change the navigation color to white, and I'm going to add a border. I don't want it to be all the way around, I just want it to be on the bottom here, and I'm going to change the color to this sort of gold color. Now the final step we need to take is just to come in and check all these extra buttons. So here, every time where we've got make project inquiry, we're going to click the pencil icon, and again, hashtag inquiry. Now once you've done all that, hit save. Now you would definitely want to go through your settings, make sure that everything is as you want it to be, connect your domain, purchase hosting, and go live. I have video trainings on all of that in the description below, but you'll see we now have a full one-page website ready to convert customers. And it only took us, what, 30 minutes? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this valuable. If you did, give it a thumbs up and leave a link to your new site in the comments below. I would love to check it out. And if you want even more tips on how to build, launch, and scale your Squarespace website with ease, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hey, if you like this video, there's a good chance you'll also like this one.